Okay, one more M11 draft I think would be enough for me. This is actually a pretty terrible pack, and it's made worse because the two best cards are both black. Gravedigger and Corrupt are both black, and the person that we pass this to is probably going to take whichever one of those we don't take, which is kind of a shame. So knowing that, I guess they could take the Volshock Berserker, but I mean, there's really just nothing in this pack even close to, I don't know. I think the best thing we can do is take the Gravedigger if we're gonna put the other person in black, because Corrupt is better in a hugely black deck, and we may only have a splash. And then we can just try to cut black as it goes on. But I'm not 100% sure about that. Here we have a choice between, like, Sign in Blood is fine, Child of Night is actually pretty good, Reassembling Skeleton is also pretty good in a control deck. None of the other cards are really that great. I mean, Greater Basilisk is probably the best card that isn't black. It's unfortunate because if the guy who took the Corrupt now is going to take Sign in Blood and think that black is open if we take Child of Night or Reassembling Skeleton. Again, we're not going to take the Sign in Blood because we're going to assume we have a weak pack 2 and that our black is going to get cut pretty hard. So instead, I think I'm going to take Reassembling Skeleton and just look to use black as a secondary color and try to stay open to whatever else comes down. Let's see. Here we have a couple of options. We have Ice Cage is removal. We have Cultivate would be pretty good if our deck ends up being two colors with black, you know, as like a third color, which might happen. The best card overall is Water Servant, but it's slow and requires a lot of mana to be good, and specifically a lot of blue mana, and I don't really like blue that much in this format. I don't know, it's okay, but we really just haven't seen a lot of really good cards. Johnny's Pridemate is okay, but there's not a lot of life gain outside of playing some pretty mediocre cards like a Johnny's Mantra or one of the Horns. I think green-black is an archetype I'm really interested in, particularly with the Gravedigger to buy back some green fatties. So I'm going to grab Cultivate and look to move into green-black. There's really not a lot for us here. The picks are either Plummet, which is a decent main deck card, fine sideboard card, or Bloodthrone Vampire, which goes well with our Reassembling Skeleton. I guess given that we already have a Reassembling Skeleton and like a Gravedigger and things like that, Bloodthrone Vampire could be fine. I'm really not excited about it, but I'm not excited about any of the cards in this pack. And if we're in black, we'll probably have access to better removal than Plummet, so let's just take the Vampire for the time being. Nothing here really jumps out at me except for Condemn. Condemn is a pretty good removal spell, but Stabbing Pain is a decent removal spell that's already in our colors. We're not going to take Ice Cage, because if we took Ice Cage we would take Condemn. Stabbing Pain's pretty good. I mean, it's not bad. Condemn is obviously much better, especially in a slower deck like this is going to be. But I think I'm going to take the Stabbing Pain and stay on color. We want the person next. We want to stop sending black cards, black playables if we can. Here there's really nothing, so we can either take a filler / sideboard creature, or we can take Terramorphic Expanse and again try to stay open. And I think the best thing to do is take Terramorphic Expanse. Here there's a great sideboard card and not much else, and we'll just take the Deathmark and hide it. It'll come in handy against all the white cards that we're passing. Viscera Seer is pretty good and is really good with reassembling skeleton. Nightwing Shade is a good finishing flyer in a control deck. It's a tough choice. I like Viscera Seer a lot. It protects you from things like active treason or mind control, and like I said, it's really good with reassembling skeleton. Probably gonna take that over the Nightwing Shade, although it's close. Now I kind of wish I had taken the Corrupt. Obviously nothing of any significance wheeled out of this pack. Diminish is an okay trick. We'll take that. We don't really want to lose to that, so go ahead and pull that. Nothing really here. Hornet Sting is okay, and we are probably playing this Cultivate at some point with whatever we pick up, so Hornet Sting and Stabbing Pain will be good removal for the cheap stuff. Just don't really want to lose to the Jace's Erasure deck, so I'll go ahead and take those. The card could be okay, I guess. Not a very good first pack. There's only 3 cards, these 3, that I'm really excited to be playing out of that first pack, but we aren't overly committed to any one or even any 2 colors. So if we open like Sun Titan or something like Ancient Hellkite or whatever, something big that would just take over games, then we're free to take it, as well as being able to just take, like, you know, Doomblade and Liliana Spectre and things like that and just build like a solid card advantage type deck. This deck looks like it's gonna be pretty good against slow decks and pretty bad against fast decks, so especially if we can fill it with removal to take out, you know, bomb creatures. But Glacial Fortress is not the kind of rare we wanted to open. However, as I mentioned, there's a lot of middling type stuff that's pretty good. Like Cudgel Troll is amazing. It's also very good when you have a Gravedigger, and we are in green. I think it's better than the Quag Sickness, although the Quag Sickness is very good as well. It's actually closer than it would normally be because we're so, you know, heavy into black, but I just don't think I can pass a Cudgel Troll when I can play it. The card is bonkers. And here, wow, we get rewarded with a number of options. We could take Magma Phoenix and move into red. Assassinate is pretty good removal. This pack is loaded. I wonder a common was taken out of this pack, or maybe a foil, maybe like a foil Titan. Wow, there are a lot of great cards in this pack. We may even wheel like a Giant Growth or something. We're definitely just going to take the second Cudgel Troll, and that gives us some more flexibility, some stability. Here there's an okay black card. There's an amazing white card that, and I would be happy to splash Blinding Mage. It's one of my favorite cards in the set. Llanowar Elves is alright. Especially with Cudgel Troll, you want to have green mana lying around. Even a Zerdrake is fine, but if I'm gonna go into another color to get a card, it's gonna be Blinding Mage. Sacred Wolf is just worse than the real pick here is between Rotting Legion, staying on curve, and Blinding Mage, and just trying to get big with Cultivate and Fixing. And I think the whole reason that we spent early picks on these cards is so that if we saw a card like Fireball or Blinding Mage or whatever, we would be free to splash it. So I'm going to take the Blinding Mage because it's a much better card than Rotting Legion, and it really complements this deck well. So here we can take the Sorcerer Strongbox, which is slow but is guaranteed card advantage. We could take Stabbing Pain, which is just better than Hornet Sting in this deck. We could take Celestial Purge, but I mean that's not too terribly exciting. The Stabbing Pain is not that great, but it would give us some removal. Paired up with like Reassembling Skeleton, it could also be really good. You know, you chump a 2/2 and then finish it off, and then you get your skeleton back. This deck is already shaping up to be pretty slow. I think I'm going to take the Sorcerer Strongbox instead. I just think that it's still kind of early, and we have the opportunity to pick up, to build our deck around